Astrology isn't just about signs and symbols. It's a tool for navigating real life. Hello, and welcome to Astrology with Alisa. I'm your host, Alisa Dixon, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. We are still in the heart of Gemini season, and Gemini is all about communication. So naturally, this past weekend, I finally set aside time to upgrade my phone. You know, the main device I use for nearly every kind of communication I do. This has been on my mind for a while, and I knew I wanted to get it done before the end of June, specifically before June 29th. This is because Mercury is going retrograde right after that, and that's not the time to be making tech purchases or signing new contracts. Don't worry, I will definitely go deeper into Mercury retrograde in a future episode, but that's not the main topic for today. Setting aside time for the phone upgrade wasn't all that easy. With the kids home for summer now, activities have picked up, and we are really busy. Juggling camp drop-offs, work schedules, and day-to-day life, there weren't many open windows to make something like this happen. So after weighing all the moving parts of our lives, I circled Sunday, June 8th as the day to finally make it happen. At first, it seemed like a simple task. Just order a new phone and move on, like I've done the last few times. But if you've ever dealt with phones, carriers, and contracts, it's never really all that easy. Right away, the questions started. Do I want the same size screen or bigger? What color phone do I want? Do I stick with what I know or try something new? Then I told my husband I was switching, and suddenly we were deep in carrier comparisons. Should we stay with Verizon or switch to T-Mobile? Who has the best plan, the best coverage, the best hotspot settings? Because now my kids ask me for Wi-Fi every time we leave the house. That was never anything I considered the last time I was upgrading phones. And then there's my daughter. She doesn't have a phone yet, but she has a Verizon Gizmo watch, which only works on that network. T-Mobile has their own version of a Gizmo watch, but T-Mobile's version felt like a big step down from what she already had. So now we're looking at options for her too. She's really still too young for a phone herself. Maybe I'd get a new Apple Watch and give Lily mine as a hand-me-down, and we could just do a cellular-only plan for her. So while we're talking watch options, my husband casually says, well, maybe I'll get a new Apple Watch. I've actually been looking at the latest one recently. So if he was getting a new one, should she just have his? But then the face on his watch is so large, it would be way too big on her wrist. So on and on and on, the questions and the considerations kept coming. What should have been a 20-minute errand turned into a multi-layered Gemini-style decision tree. Branching questions, sub-decisions, overlapping logistics, each step leading to 3 more. And that's when I knew. I could just feel it. I was swimming in Jupiter and Gemini energy. Jupiter is the planet of growth, optimism, abundance, expansion, and excess. It governs our vision, our big picture thoughts, our beliefs, our faith, and it's been in Gemini since May of 2024. Gemini isn't exactly known for big picture thinking. Gemini is all about the little details. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the smallest, fastest moving planet in the solar system. Mercury is the messenger, the multitasker, the mental spark. So when Jupiter passes through Gemini, its big picture style gets pulled into all the details. One big idea becomes 5 smaller ones, which all need sorting, comparing, and Googling. And that was me on Sunday, trying to upgrade my phone and then somehow getting pulled into the weeds, planning all the family's technological needs. And of course, the phone that I wanted wasn't in stock. After we got everything figured out, who was going to get what phone, what plan, etc., then the phone I wanted wasn't in stock, which means I have to go back. 2 trips, twice the conversations, twice the mental tabs open. Totally Gemini. Gemini is the sign of the twins, And sometimes you quite literally do things twice while in Gemini, especially when it's Jupiter, the planet of expansion or excess, having you do everything twice. Now, here's what's really interesting and where the timing of astrology is so amazing. I had chosen Sunday, June 8th, because it fit in my schedule. One of the only free days to get this done before my deadline, before Mercury retrograde. And Sunday the 8th was actually the very last day that Jupiter was in Gemini. Jupiter was at 29 degrees of Gemini, and anytime a planet is at the last degree of a sign, it's extra strong. And Jupiter was absolutely bringing all the extra to my phone upgrade, the extra questions, the extra considerations that sent me spinning. Sunday was also Mercury's last day in Gemini. And while Mercury moves quickly and changes signs often, what made this moment so remarkable was that Mercury and Jupiter were together, conjunct, in the very last degree of Gemini, on the very day I was knee-deep in tech decisions, comparisons, logistics, and communication. And here's the wild part. I had paid attention to the astrology for the end of June. I knew Mercury retrograde was coming, and I knew I wanted everything sorted out before that. But I hadn't looked at the chart for June 8th when I picked that date. I thought I was just choosing a day that worked in our schedule. But now I realize it wasn't random at all. It was perfect timing in the universe for the tiniest planet in charge of all the details to meet up and work together with the biggest planet with all the blessings and goodness for my new tech. And in the end, it all worked out, just not necessarily in the way I had expected. We are switching from Verizon to T-Mobile. My husband, Kevin, is getting a new Apple Watch. I'm taking his old one, and Lily is getting mine because the smaller one I had been wearing will fit her little wrist better than his would, and that'll replace her gizmo watch. I'm getting my new phone, which was the main thing that needed to happen, my Jupiter big picture. Kevin and my son Will are both getting new phones because the cost is covered because we're switching carriers. So the Jupiter big picture technology needs of our family got sorted through a series of tiny, very Gemini-style decisions. It felt like a game of musical chairs with the family's electronic devices. Everyone finally ending up in the spot that fit best, but with a lot of moving around. And honestly, all the more reason I'm glad we handled it before Mercury retrograde. We were navigating so much tech, and Mercury retrograde tends to bring confusion, delays, and backtracking, especially when it comes to technological devices. Much more to come on that in another episode. I will definitely give you a prep episode so you're ready for this next retrograde. So I'm sure now you're wondering, if Sunday was Jupiter's last day in Gemini, now what? Well, on Monday, Jupiter moved into Cancer. And I will tell you, about an hour after this shift, I felt it. A breeze of lightness. The mental fog started to clear. And I felt hope, like something opened up. Projects that had been in slow motion suddenly began to move. I had a few unexpected cancellations that led to a spontaneous lunch with a friend. Real connection with actual breathing room. Just general goodness. The air felt lighter. I felt optimistic. That's Jupiter in Cancer. Where Jupiter in Gemini lives in the mind, Jupiter in Cancer lives in the heart. Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's emotional, intuitive, nourishing. It craves safety, softness, and home. And Jupiter expands whatever sign it enters. So this new energy is bringing warmth, emotional generosity, a sense of meaning in the connections we care about the most. So after a year of navigating mental traffic, Jupiter in Cancer feels like an emotional exhale. So if you are feeling a shift this week, that sense of ease or possibility returning, you're not imagining it. Jupiter has moved on and won't return to Gemini for another 12 years. Jupiter spends about a year in each sign. And wherever Gemini is in your chart, is likely where you've been bogged down in the details. If the past year has felt like your big ideas got caught in an endless tangle of logistics, you were living the Jupiter in Gemini experience. Now we begin a new chapter, and the Cancer area of your chart is going to get some goodness. Let Jupiter expand what really matters to you, not just what you think, but what you feel. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to go deeper and understand your own natal Jupiter, where it lives in your chart, what it wants to expand, and how it's showing up in your life, visit my website and book a reading. I'd love to explore it with you. And just a heads up, this year, if you're turning 24, 36, 48, and so on, or if you have a 12-year-old at home like I do, you or they are having a Jupiter return. Every 12 years, that's when Jupiter comes back to the exact spot it was in your birth chart. And it often brings a new wave of opportunity, insight, or growth. It's a big moment, one worth noticing. So wherever Jupiter is landing for you, it shows what's ready to grow. And I would love to explore that with you. Thanks so much for listening. Please take a minute, follow the show, leave me a review, and share it with your friends. Take care, and I'll see you next time.